Good morning, children. Welcome to the English class. In our last class, we had studied about the verb. Let us quickly recall about the verb. So, what is verb? A verb that tells of the action or state of a thing is called verb. So, what does the verb tells us? The verb tells us what a person or thing does, what is done to a person or thing, or what a person or thing is. And also, there are two classes of verbs in English. Auxiliary verbs, it is also called as helping verbs. Ordinary verbs, it is also called as main verbs. Auxiliary verbs are the verbs that help to form a tense, help to form a negative or an interrogative. Ordinary verbs are verbs that tells us what has happened or what the situation is. So, the ordinary verbs have four different forms: V1, V2, V3 and V1 ing. So, auxiliary verbs are the verbs used with ordinary verbs. These auxiliary verbs are always used with ordinary verbs and they help to form tenses, negatives and questions. Okay. So, the ordinary verb can have four different forms. Present, we shall call it as V1. Past, we shall call it as V2. Past participle, we shall call it as V3. Present participle, we shall call it as V1 ing. So, you have also studied the different verbs and different forms of verbs in your last class. I hope, children, you have studied these different verbs and verb forms. If you study this, then only you can understand the next topic, that is the tenses, very clearly. So, and also you have to remember the verbs and its different forms always. So, children, in our class, now let us study about the tenses. So, what is tense? The form of verb that shows the time or state of an action is called tense. So, action at what time it was done and what is the state of this action, that is called as what? The tense. There are three main tenses in English. They are the present tense, the past tense and the future tense. These three main tenses have four different forms, that is simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. So, thus there are 12 different tenses or forms of a verb in English. They are present simple, past simple, future simple, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous and future perfect continuous. So, taking one sentence as an example, let us study the different forms of tenses. How will be the verbs in different forms of tenses? In a present simple, so the verb comes. She comes late. Here, which is the verb? Come is the verb. So, present simple, she comes late. Past simple, she came late. Future simple, she will come late. In a present continuous, she is coming late. In a past continuous, she was coming late. In a future continuous, she will be coming late. In present perfect, she has come late. Past perfect, she had come late. Future perfect, she will have come late. In present perfect continuous, she has been coming late. In past perfect continuous, she had been coming late. In future perfect continuous, she will have been coming late. Okay, children. So, how will be the verb form? See, always remember this following table. So, in the present simple form, verb will be in V1. So, V1 plus S or ES. So, when the subject is singular, So when the subject is singular, we will use only V1. Sorry children. When subject is singular, we will add s or es to the what? To the verb. V1 plus s or es. And so we use uh, we use only V1 when the subject is plural, and we will always use V1 with I and U. Okay, V1 we will use with I, U and a plural subject, and with a singular subject we will use V1 plus S or ES. That you will come to know when I clearly give example and explain to you all. Okay children, in past simple the verb form will be in V2. In future simple, will or shall plus V1. Okay children, will or shall plus V1. Okay, shall you will always use with the first person I and we. Okay, with the second person you will use will. Okay, so second person you, he, she, it, they and the plural you will always use will. With I and we you will always use shall, but normally we will use will for all the verb forms. In future simple, what it is? Will or shall plus V1. In a present continuous, is, am or are plus V1 ing. Okay, is you will use with the singular subject, am with I and are with plural subject, and verb form you will add ing to the V1 form. In the past continuous, we will use was or were plus V1 ing. When the subject is singular, we will use was, and when the subject is plural, we will use were. So in future continuous, will or shall plus be plus V1 ing. As I told you all, we will use shall with I and we, and with the second person, with the second and third person, we will use will, and will or shall plus be plus V1 ing. In a present perfect, has or have plus V3. So I have told you all, whenever there is a past participle, you have to use, whenever you are using V3 form, compulsorily you have to use has or have. With the past perfect, had plus V3. With the future perfect, will or shall plus have plus V3. With the present perfect continuous, has or have plus been plus V1 ing. In a past perfect continuous, had plus been plus V1 ing. In a future perfect continuous, will or shall plus have been plus V1 ing. Children, always remember this following table. So, in this form, the verbs will be in different tenses. So, now let us take one example. The sun rises in the east. Okay, the sun rises in the east. So, here the subject, the sun, it is singular. Okay, the sun, it is singular. So, yes or es is added. What is the verb here? Here verb is rise. Okay, verb is rise. So, the subject is singular. So, you will add yes or es. So, this sentence, it is in present simple. Okay, present simple. In present simple, how will be the verb form? The verb form will be V1 plus yes or es. So, see here, rise. So, subject is singular. So, s is added to the verb. the sun rises in the east. So next, in the past simple, how the verb form, how it will change? So in the past simple, the verb form is V2. The sun rise becomes rose. Okay, rise becomes rose. The sun rose in the east. It is past simple. It is past simple. So next one is future simple. The sun will rise in the east. The sun will rise in the east. So here it is future simple. So here the verb form is V2 and here it is will or shall plus V1 in future simple. Next tense is present continuous, fourth one. So present continuous, how it will change? The sun is rising in the east. The sun is rising in the east. So present continuous. So present continuous verb form how will be in the present continuous? Is, am or are plus V1 ing. So the subject here, the sun is a singular, so is used, and for the V1 rise ing is added. Okay, the sun is, for rise ing is added. So you also know about the rules. Whenever the word it ends with e, you will drop the e and you will add ing to form the V1 ing form. So the sun is rising in the east. It is in present continuous form. Next, past continuous form. So the sun was rising. The sun was rising. Verb form how it will be in the past continuous? Was or were plus V1 ing. So the subject is singular, so you have used was and V1 ing. Rise is changed to rising. The sun was rising in the east. That is, it is in the past continuous form. It is in the past continuous form. Next, sixth one, future continuous. The sun will be rising. The sun will be rising in the east. So it is in the future, it is in the future continuous tense. Okay, so how is the verb form in the future continuous here? See here, will or shall plus be plus V1 ing. Okay, children. Next, we will see the present perfect form. The sun has risen in the east. It is in the present perfect. It is in the present. Sorry, children. The sun has risen in the east. So, in the present perfect, how will be? Has or have plus V3. So, if when the subject is singular, you will use has. When the subject is plural, you will use have. Next, in the past perfect, the sun had risen. The sun had risen in the east. So, it is in the past perfect form. See here, the sun had risen. So in the past perfect form, how it will be? Had plus V3. Rise, rose, risen. It is the V1, V2, V3 form of the verb. So next we'll see about the future perfect. The sun will have risen in the east. So here it is future perfect. Future perfect. The sun will have risen. Will or shall plus have plus V3. It is the future perfect form of the verb. Next, we'll see the present perfect continuous. So the sun has been rising in the east. That is how it is present perfect continuous form. So in the present perfect continuous form, how will be the verb form? Has or have plus been plus V1 ing. So the verb form how will be in the present perfect continuous? Has or have plus been plus V1 ing. When the subject is singular, you will use has. When the subject is plural, you will use have. The sun has been rising in the east. Okay. Next, in the past perfect continuous, the sun had been rising. The sun had been rising in the east. It is in the past perfect continuous form. Next, the last form, that is future perfect continuous. The sun will have been rising in the east. Okay, future perfect continuous. So how is the verb form? The sun in the future perfect continuous, so what will be the verb form? Will or shall plus have been plus V1 ing. So this is the verb form. So see here children. So in the present simple form, the verb form will be V1 plus yes or es. So the sun rises in the east. It is in the present simple form. When you change this sentence into past simple form, the sun rose in the east. Next, when you change this sentence into future simple, then it will be the sun will rise in the east. When you change to present continuous, then the sentence will be the sun is rising in the east. So when you change it to past continuous, the sun was rising in the east. When you change it into future continuous, the sun will be rising in the east. Next, when you change it into past perfect, the sun has risen in the east. Sorry, present perfect, the sun has risen in the east. Past perfect, the sun had risen in the east. Next, future perfect, the sun will have risen in the east. Next, present perfect continuous, the sun has been rising in the east. So, past perfect continuous, the sun had been rising in the east. And future perfect continuous, the sun will have been rising in the east. So, let us take more examples and practice in our next class. Thank you, children.